Hi and welcome to Skein Studio. My name is Kristen. You can find me on Instagram as Skein Yarn and on Ravelry as K10, that's K10. I'm also on Instagram as The Wardrobe Remix, which is where I post all my sewing stuff. Hope you're all doing really well. It is quite hot today. I'm actually podcasting in the normal room that I usually podcast, just in a different spot, because I bought some lights for the podcast and I've been waiting for them to arrive, which is why it's been taken me so long to get this podcast out. I think COVID still is affecting shipping. So yes, they arrived last week, end of last week. So yeah, I plan to do it this week. Hopefully they'll make a bit of a difference. It's kind of everywhere that I podcast seems to be a little bit dark, and yeah, every time I edit I sort of try and tweak the brightness using the editing software, but yeah, it just doesn't work that great. So I'm hoping this will be a little bit better. It looks better in the screen, but fingers crossed it'll look better when I edit. It's also, like I said, it's very hot, so I have the fan on in here. I hope it's not making too much noise. So yeah, hope you're doing really well. It is Thursday here today, beginning of November, which is crazy. The year is almost over. Yeah, everything's been good, been busy. Had a few swims. It's been really nice actually. The weather's been great and the water temperature is quite warm for this time of year. We have found the currents change, and in December around Christmas time the water temperature tends to get a lot cooler. It's really odd. So now is a good time to swim. And then middle of January it usually starts to get a bit warmer again. So anyway, so yeah, I have been knitting the Slipstravaganza shawl by West Knits. I have had so much fun knitting on this. Are you guys knitting it? I know a few of you left comments on the last podcast saying you were going to join up and join the knit along. So how did you go? Did you keep up with the clues? Have you finished? Are you happy with your shawl? I am very happy with how mine has turned out. I think the pattern and his design is just crazy and amazing, and I don't know if I will wear it, but I really want to put it up and just admire it on the wall. It's like a piece of art. It's just incredible. I think he's just so talented with his shawl designs. Yeah. Anyway, I'm up to the last clue, so if you don't want spoilers, just push on ahead, because I'm going to show it. Okay, so there is 1,000,000 stitches at the moment, and I have the shawl on a medium length cable, but there are so many stitches it's really hard to move the stitches around, and it's going to be hard to show you what I've done, but I will try. So this is it here. Can't really see the border that well. It's a chevron border, and you can do a smaller border, which is one repeat of each colour that you used, or you can do the bigger border, which is 2 repeats. I feel like because I've come this far, I'm going to do 2 repeats. To be honest, the actual knitting on the border, even though there's loads, I would say 1,000,000 stitches on this at the moment, it's actually quite nice to knit because it's basically garter stitch and some increases and decreases. And when you started the border, he actually asked you to put on what do you call them, stitch markers for the pattern repeats, and at the time I was like, do I really want to do that? I like to knit without stitch markers. I find them a bit irritating to move all the time, and usually I can just look at my knitting and work out what I need to do. but I'm so glad I did it because, like I said, there are so many stitches on this. You would just, without the stitch markers, I think I would get lost. I would probably fall out of pattern, and then to be honest, I probably wouldn't rip it back because there is just so many stitches, it would just be too much. So I'm glad I did put them all in. They used pretty much all of my stitch markers that I have. I don't know how many stitch markers are in here. A lot. Anyway. Yeah, so what I was trying to say is that even though it's a lot of stitches, it's very calming and lovely to knit, and I've just been working on it at night, not hurrying through, just enjoying the process, enjoying the colours and the shape, and just the whole process. It's just the whole shawl, in fact. Even though you look at this and you think, my God, if you were a beginner knitter, you would think I could not do that. Yes, you could. It's really easy. It's basically just it's called what's it called? Slipstravaganza. So it's just slip stitches and slip stitch patterns. And Stephen West has done a video for every single clue. He holds your hand through it. He demonstrates how to do the stitch patterns, and it's really not that difficult. It looks a lot more difficult than what it is. I had a little bit of troubles with this section here where the holes are, only because I read his instructions and I just couldn't visualize what he was saying. And then I watched his video and it was fine, I got it. And yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been lovely. I've just had such a nice time knitting it. He actually just released a new pattern called, I'm pretty sure it's Bobbles and Brioche. I'll put a picture up. And I have loved knitting this shawl so much. I'm thinking of casting that one on soon as well. I think also with the change of season and summer here, I really want to just knit with lots and lots of colour. And yeah, just kind of light knitting that's fun. So I have used, for this shawl, I used the Everyday Sock yarn, which is our basic sock that we have on the shop for $25. It's a cheaper yarn. It's not a cheaper base. The base is actually a extra fine merino, so it's very, very good yarn, but we just sort of thought it'd be nice to have something a little bit cheaper that people can afford to buy. I used, for the main colour, it's barley, so just a nice light neutral. Colourway 1 is, I'm pretty sure it's colourway 1 is this one. It's the Sea Glass. Colour 2 is Zinnia, and colour 3 is Cassia. When I first started knitting this shawl, I thought maybe I had this one as my pop, but I was a little bit worried that having these two, they were a little bit too dark, and I was thinking of adding like a bright pink or a bright sort of orangey colour, just something with a bit more pop, because I felt like the shawl might have ended up being a little bit too dark. But I think having the main colour as a light colour, if it had been a dark colour it would have been way too dark, but having the main as the light, I think it's quite nice. And there isn't a huge amount of distinction between the purple Zinnia and the gold Cassia. It is when you look up close, but when you move it away they both just kind of blend, but that's fine. I'm happy. I'm happy. It looks good. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to say, just that I'm really enjoying it. So in between clues, the clue for us in Australia comes out on a Saturday. It's usually Friday night, but by that stage it's too late for me to look at it. So usually it comes in, I look at it in the morning on Saturday and then start knitting on it Saturday evening. But usually I finish the clues, I have been finishing the clues at about Wednesday, so I needed something to knit because I forgot to bring in my socks. I finished socks that I were knitting on, and I'll put a picture in here. I was using, what's it called? Lovebird Lane yarn, and I knit a pair of socks for myself, and it was, I'm pretty sure it was All Sorts, Licorice All Sorts, the colourway. It's beautiful stripes. So I finished those, and then I decided to cast on another pair of socks. These ones are going to be for my mum, because she said she was after some more socks. I'm just using a Zalba ball, which I really enjoy knitting with these. I think they're a lot of fun. They actually make quite good socks because the yarn is quite sturdy, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, those stripes, it's great. So yeah, I've started knitting on that. So I was knitting these in between the clues, and then I decided to start another garment. So we have a yarn in the shop called Coastal, which is a 50% merino, 50% cotton. And because it's summer, I was wanting to knit a top, a nice sort of summery top. And I had this pattern in my favourites for quite some time. It's called Hikari by Yamagara, and I'll put the picture in. This was in one of the Amirisu magazines, which I just absolutely adore Amirisu. And I bought the magazine as a PDF copy. And there's quite a few patterns in there that I would happily knit. So I decided to... I'm having a bit of a neutral moment. In saying that though, I do actually, I'm either going into lots and lots of colour, as I'm drawn to lots of bright colour, or I'm drawn to neutrals. It's like one or the other, one extreme or the other, no in between. So yeah, I started this a couple of weeks ago, and that's it there. So it's lovely, really easy to knit. You start off with a I-cord cast on, and it's knit top down obviously. I have not that long to go before I split the sleeves and body, and then you start doing this interesting pattern on the front, which is like a nice little textured pattern on the front of the top. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The colourway I'm using is Silverbark, so it's a nice sort of neutral. This colourway dries up beautifully on our coastal base. The coastal base itself, because it has 50% cotton in it, it doesn't take up our colours in a brilliant manner, because cotton, obviously you need cotton dye, and our dyes are for protein fibres, so animal fibres. So the merino picks up the dye, and then the rest doesn't. So it's sort of a nice heathered, more subtle, lighter look for our colours. But yes, for this colourway it actually dyes up beautifully. So yeah, that is what I'm knitting on. And I don't think there's anything else knitting wise to talk about. I have been sewing quite a lot as well, which I'll talk about. I actually have on one finished object that I sewed last weekend. This is the Alice top by Tsuti Patterns, and I made one of these, I think it was last year, and I wore it to death in summer. It's such a nice cool top to wear. It's very easy to make. It has a yoke section at the top and at the back, and then a gathered body, and the yoke section and the sleeves are lined with the same fabric. Yeah, it comes together beautifully. It's such a nice top. I actually went to Spotlight last weekend to pick up some fabric for another Alice top, and I picked this fabric, and I have a little bit here. It's really nice. It's a very, very light cotton, and it has these sections of lace and pin tucks. So what I did is I did the actual selvage is with it going down that way. So for the top I laid the pattern pieces crossways, and then for the body I laid it as it should be, the selvage going down. So you can see there's just a little bit of difference. Anyway, I really, really like it. It's beautiful. I have another Tessuti pattern ready. It's all, I have the pattern actually cut out. I haven't actually cut the material yet, but I'm going to be making the Bondi dress, which, sorry for bending over, but I don't have a table next to me. I've got everything on the spare bed. What was I going to say? Oh god, I can't remember. But anyway, the Bondi dress. Oh, I've had it for a while, but yeah, I've just decided to, because it's summer, to cut it out. I actually washed the fabric yesterday, and I bought this fabric a while ago. This is from Tessuti. It's a beautiful mid-weight linen. And yeah, this will become the Bondi dress, and I'm really, really keen to get started. They do have, the Bondi dress on the hem actually has a section where you can attach a raw edge and then have it fray. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just have the clean edge. But yeah, can't wait to start doing that. I also have plans to sew up a sagebrush top by Friday Patterns, and I bought this from, it's a double gauze. I bought it from Spotlight, and it's this fabric. I did actually make a sagebrush top. I can't remember whether I showed it on the podcast. I'll put a picture in, but it was this nice sort of eyelet cotton fabric. The only thing about that top is the sleeves are very puffed, and I have seen other people's tops that use the gauze or like a viscose, and it actually doesn't puff up as much. It's still a little bit puffy, but not as puffed up as the cotton is, because it kind of stands up on its own. So that's why I'm making another top, because I actually really love the look of the top, but I just didn't want the sleeves to be too so yeah, that's on my to-do list, and I'm going to have to wash this fabric today. And what else? Paper cut patterns. They had a sale at the beginning of the week, and I went kind of crazy and bought loads of patterns, and I can't wait for them to arrive. But the two paper cut patterns that I'm really interested in are the, sorry, I'm looking at my notes, is the Sierra jumpsuit, which when I saw the actual pattern on their Instagram, I wasn't all that fussed about it. I just kind of, I don't know, I think it's the photo, the way they've styled it, I'm not sure, but it just didn't appeal to me very much. But then when I started looking at the hashtag and seeing what other people had made, I fell in love for it. It's beautiful. I've never actually made a jumpsuit, so fingers crossed it's going to work okay. I'm sure it will if I just take my time. And there's a lot of people who have made it, there's a lot of reviews, there's a lot of tutorials, so it shouldn't be that hard to do. I am going to, just for safety's sake, I'm going to choose a fabric that has just a tiny little bit of stretch, just in case. I have my eye on some, I can't remember what the fabric was called, but there's the fabric store in New Zealand. They have, it's a cotton with a tiny little bit of spandex in it, but it has is it cotton sateen? I think it is. It has like a tiny bit of sheen, and I would really like, I'm thinking of buying the black to make a black jumpsuit. I also love seeing the jumpsuits that are being made with lots of print. Yeah, so sorry, my battery just died. Yeah, so I was talking about the Sierra jumpsuit, and yeah, I can't wait till I get the pattern and to make that up, and I'm pretty sure I will just stick with the plain fabric first. I might even just make a twirl with some cheaper fabric. Maybe if I go to Spotlight and pick something up and just sort of make one and see if there's any fitting issues before I go ahead and buy more expensive fabric. Anyway, that's on the cards. The other pattern of theirs that I'm really excited about is the Axis dress. I've seen these, quite a few of these on Instagram, and I really love it. It has a cross sort of back section with a tie, and I really like it. Again, I think I might, for that, I'm thinking linen. I might go and buy some nice linen, just something nice and light for summer. I have seen them done in more of a silkier satiny fabric, which looks fantastic if you're going to go out in the dress, but since I don't really go out that often, as in I'm more of a going out during the day, having brunches and lunches, or going to the market, that kind of thing, I think linen would be nicer because it would be a little bit more casual. Anyway, they're my plans for sewing, and yeah, I think with the weather warming up, I really want to start getting some nice dresses and tops and things like that. So yeah, can't wait to show you when I start making these things. I just wanted to end with some shop stuff, so if you're not interested, that's fine, I'll see you next time. But I just wanted to show some new colorways that I've come up with for the shop. Basically, I'd say, when was it? Year ago maybe, I completely took all of our old colorways out of the shop and started again. I did that because the business has been going for 10 years and I just felt like I needed a bit of a change. I wanted to yeah, introduce new colors, just have a bit more fun, instead of dyeing the same thing over and over again. I just wanted a whole new palette. At the time I knew it would be quite a bit of work, but I didn't realise how much work it was going to be, which has been quite a lot. So I sort of started with moodier, darker, deeper colours, mainly because that was the season that I was starting in. And now we're moving into spring and summer. I'm going to be starting to introduce some lighter, brighter shades. And some more speckles, because I've been doing mainly semi-solid and sort of subtle tonals, but with my speckles I want to keep them subtle because I just feel like the trend is becoming more towards wearable colours. In the sense of a lot of people are starting to knit more cardigans and jumpers and more wearable things, and I feel like it's harder to visualize a yarn when it's very variegated. It's hard to think how that would look in a jumper or a cardigan, even in shawls too. I find you've got to be careful too with highly variegated yarns that you choose patterns that will highlight the colour, because the colour takes over from the design. If you're knitting cables or lace, you've got to be careful what sort of cables and lace pattern you choose with heavily variegated yarns, because they'll get lost in the colour. Some very fine, small lace is really nice with highly variegated yarns, but if you're not careful, yeah, it sort of takes over. So my idea is to sort of pare all that colour back, be a little bit more subtle but still have just a light sprinkling of speckles in it that won't take over, that you can still knit whatever you want and they'll be visible but not take over the design. So here's just a few. There's quite a few new colours. So these ones, as you can see, they're very spring-like, summer-like. A lot of them I've done greys and browns as backgrounds, like this one. And as you can see, it's just very, very basic speckles. All of the colours are semi-solid backgrounds, and what I used to do with my speckles was I would do quite a variegated background, so I would dip the colour in lots of different colours and then speckle on top, and it would be quite bright. This time it's just semi-solid backgrounds with very minimal speckling of colour. This one I'm really happy with. This is called Lemon Zest. I feel like it's blowing out in the light. Let me turn the light down a little bit. Yeah, so it's just sort of green and golds. And this one I quite like too. This is Papaya. It has sort of blues and purples and a little bit of gold. So when it knits up, it'll knit up very subtly, and I quite like that about these colours. Again, this one is Mint Chai. We've also dyed up very bright colours. Well, that's it's actually a fluoro. This is fluoro under certain lights. It's a fluoro yellow. This is called limoncello, sorry. And then this one, Pink Pop. Again, it's a fluoro pink, and it is fluoro under certain lights. And then I went back to a few moodier colours, because dark moody colours pair really, really nicely with brights. So this is called Nordic Gold. And yeah, it pairs really, really nicely. Even with the lighter speckles, it looks really pretty. And just a basic blue, which I've been dying to have in the shop for a while, sort of a lighter mid-tone blue. This is really, I'm really happy with this one. It's almost like a denim-y blue. It suits my fabric that I showed earlier, but yeah. So yes, these are all going in the shop tomorrow, Friday, and it's on top drawer sock base. We will also have Donegal sock, which is the lovely tweedy sock. I am hoping to get more yarn, more DK in for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, and for people in Southern Hemisphere who feel like still knitting jumpers and things. So yeah, I think that's everything. So yeah, let me know in the description, in the comments below, how you're going with the mystery knit along. Did you do it? Where are you at? Did you find it easy or hard? Yeah, I'd love to know how you all went. And yeah, hopefully I'll be back, I'm thinking probably every second week, so maybe not next week, but the week after, definitely the week after. And yeah, take care until then, and talk to you soon. Happy knitting, and bye!